Greetings, QCS build fans. Well, as you can see, the Dark Fleet's out again. Well, what are we doing? Well, we're upgrading. Sorta. Maybe. Maybe there's a surprise. Anyways, so we got our BioniX Arctic P120 A-RGB fans. So these are going to replace our P120 fans that are in the front right here. I've got where this machine used to have the big stock RGB hub fans that came with it from Antec. We took those out when we did the whole Arctic cooler and everything in here, and I just kind of miss having that big glowy RGB in here at night or early in the morning when I walk into the office. And so, but I didn't want to necessarily go another like big hub fan like we have the Cougar hub fan in the back here. And so I wanted something a little more subtle but yet kind of cool, because I do kind of like the whole kind of like black ice theme that's kind of going on with this. So I kind of like that. So yeah, so I figured, well, these will out of touch the color without having to go crazy. And then these also have the RGB controller in here with the remote, so we'll see how we're going to set that up. I haven't quite decided on that yet. So, yep, so we're doing a fan upgrade in the front. But while we're doing a fan upgrade, we're going to do one other upgrade. I finally hold the power of the universe in my hands. Well, at least until Zen 4 comes out. I finally got myself a 5950X. I have wanted one of these since they came out. The problem was, you couldn't freaking buy them because they're unfreaking obtainium. So yeah, I've been really wanting one of these since this came out. That was the whole reason I got the Creator AM4 board in this. Was specifically to run this chip and to overclock it. Because I'm doing enough video production on this machine now that the 3700X, it works. It does a fair job, but at the same time, it's like, I just don't want to wait an hour to 2 hours for a finished video to export to MPEG-4 before I can upload it to YouTube. So, you know, because it's like, what happens is I end up coming home, I end up editing the video together, and then instead of being able to wait, 30 minutes for it to finish, it takes an hour and a half, and instead of uploading it, instead of uploading it that night, I end up uploading it in the morning, and then all of the tagging and everything that has to go on in the background of YouTube has to wait until that morning until I do it and everything else, and it's just like, ugh. I just want to get it all done right then and there so it's not invading my morning all the time on the next day. So that's the reason for this. This is going to save me time, hopefully. It should cut the export time down to about half of what it is. So instead of anywhere from 30 to 90 minutes to crunch a video, it should only take about anywhere from about 15 to 45 minutes. So less than an hour. That's long enough that, yeah, that's more manageable. So that's not let it run overnight. So yeah. So the other issue is I could have bought one a long time ago. I mean, granted, we have the 6800 XT in here, Taichi, and I spent way more money than I needed to on that. But I kind of really wanted that a heck of a lot more than I needed this at the time. But where also, yeah, these were getting scalped for about $1,200 to $1,300 because you just couldn't get them. Yeah, I was just like, no, I'm just gonna wait because It wasn't killing me. For everything else that I do, I don't need 16 cores. That's kind of the one part of what I do that, yes, I actually need 16 cores to get that done in a decent amount of time. Because I could even run it on the Threadripper server, but it actually doesn't perform any better than the 3700X, because that is 2000 series Zen Plus Threadripper, and this is Zen 2 Ryzen, and Zen 2 Ryzen is actually way more efficient than Zen Plus Threadripper does, even though it's 3 times the cores. It's basically internally bottlenecked. So it just, it doesn't do you. There's little to no performance gain running it on a 24 core 2000 series Threadripper than it is running on this 8 core. So yeah, but with this guy, this is gonna cook. Plus, we're gonna be able to see. Right now, we're running DDR2, or sorry, not DDR2, DDR4 3200 CAS 16 on this, and we're gonna see if we can, with this chip, if it'll clock even better. See if maybe we can get our timings down even tighter, and you can get a bigger performance boost there. Also, we might be able to clock, we might be able to overclock the RAM to like 3600 or something like that too. So we're gonna play around with that, and we're gonna see how that works. So, but all right, to the bench and to the results. Okay, so first things first is we're gonna do our chip install first. So we're gonna take our block and pump combination off, because this will be basically the easiest part of this. Oh no, yeah, it's still nice and soft. So we're gonna go ahead and loosen that up, and we see we had really good contact actually. So, and it's with the 3700, it actually doesn't run very hot at all. Now you can see that this Liquid Freezer 2 360, this is the a Rev 1 or the original one. There's actually a Rev 2 that is out, and it actually has an offset for it, for the pump to mount to, and it's supposed to allow for better cooling of Zen 2. So we'll post the we'll link the video that GamersNexus did on that, because they did the, I don't believe it wasn't the, I believe it was the 420 that they did the video on, that came with the new offset for it. And because what it does is it just takes and it just moves the because you do get full coverage, but it moves the main part of the, evidently the pump, or the fin, or the micro fins, to right over the cores versus over the IO die, it seems like. And so you get better, you get slightly better temps with it that way. So all right. That's one nice thing with MX, the Arctic MX4 compound, is that it doesn't, Doesn't dry out very easily, actually. So alright, let's see, our 3700X is cleaned up enough. Gonna go and clean off our block here. There we go, nice and pretty. Okay, we'll play CPU do-si-do here. So I love this. There's this huge, they got this huge spacer in here for the box. And the only thing that's in here is the chip, the stickers, and the warranty info. That's it. So, which is kind of funny, but I think they use the same box for the 5600X, which does come with the a cooler. So, yeah, I think that's a lot of it. Okay, so. There's one. I always kind of like to wiggle it just to make sure to do something goofy. Alright, grab our Tuba MX4. And where it's just a AM4 chip, we can just put a single pea-sized blob right in the middle because it'll squeeze out pretty much uniformly without any issues. Plug her back in here. Okay, and just like we had it before, I'm just going to tuck this back up underneath over here, like so. That way it's out of the fans. Get it down and out of the way. And okay, we're good there. Alright, time for the front fans. Okay, well this guy, this just pops off. Okay, so you can see how our fans are right here. So I'm going to take the first one off here, and you'll see how this is all mounted up. So with these, you can see there's a daisy chain cable right here. With the BioniX, we won't need that. A little dusty, but of course this thing sits on the floor, so because I don't have room for it on my desk. Okay, so our first fan will go here, and these are a little thicker, so let's see what's in the goodie box. So we got, that's our controller, that's our remote, and it looks like the same controller and remote from, if you go back and look at the TR, the Freezer 50 TR cooler install. Looks like it's the same controller. But these are our cables. So that's our power in and connect cables. So, yeah. Yeah, power in and connect. Just like that. Yeah, I thought those went differently. I guess they don't. Oh, so these are set up so that way they go down the side. Well, that works too. Oh, no, there they are. Okay. I thought so. Yeah, so these are our pin connections, so that way we can just butt them up and then they just go one to the other. So we can just slide them together at that point. So, alright. So, that'll work. The only thing I don't know if it's going to work is these are a fair amount thicker than the others. I don't know if these are going to reach. Ooh, they're not. That's not good. Well, to be continued. So, we have an issue. So these are the screws that came with the Arctic Freezer 360. These are long enough to mount P12 fans to this, but not long enough to mount BioniX fans to this, because when you run these through, there's no thread on the other end. They are flush. So, because we are about on the nub, we're about a centimeter thicker. Now, basically 2 weeks later. So, alright, so come to find out that Arctic made an oops. So, and evidently this is a known issue, and Arctic's already addressed it. But if you have some of the original units of these Bionic 120 fans that came out, so the original ones came with the standard screws. Okay, same as these, what originally came with my Arctic Freezer came with. So the problem is they're designed for the standard P12 fans and not the Bionic fans. And so, hence that makes for a problem. And so, I'm going to set that one kind of there. Okay, so you can see, so our Bionic fans are quite a bit thicker. And mainly it's just because of the RGB ring that's on it that makes it thicker, and this housing system. Otherwise, it's basically the same fan. So yeah, because of that, we end up with issues. And so Arctic So if you get one of these that doesn't have the correct radiator screws for it, all you got to do on Arctic's website for these particular fans, there is a support link and there's a little asterisk that says contact support. Shoot them an email, tell them you got these fans and that you're missing the screws. They will get a set and with your shipping address and everything, and they will send you out another set, and they'll send you out a 3-pack if you have a 3-pack. And so it took about a week for these to show up, which I emailed them as soon as I got done with that video, which was on a Saturday. They had replied back by Tuesday, basically saying they had already shipped. And as you can see, oh, look at that! It actually sticks out like it's supposed to now. Cool. So, yep, easy fix. So, but that's pretty awesome. I like a company that actually, you know, responds to things. And that was pretty easy. I've had lots of dealings with lots of companies over the years where you email them and sometimes you have to email them 3 and 4 times, make a couple phone calls to actually get stuff like this resolved. And in this particular instance, it was just really pretty simple. So, it's pretty great. Alright, so now we're going to tighten this one down pretty good. And the reason being is because of the fact that this is going to anchor our radiator down. Alright, so there's that one. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to take this one out. Come loose. So, okay. Alright, so that takes care of that. That's right, because I looped, when I put these in, I looped the cable inside of the screw or inside the bolts, and then that way it just held the cable in place for better cable management. Oh, that's right, these are the ones that actually came with the fan, the radiator. So this cable is the PWM cable that runs off of the controller on the pump. Well, we got those off. Knock that out of there. Okay, so to make this work, inside with the fan screws, there's these little pin extender units, and these will connect your fans together. So you can see on this side we have a power in right here, and then let's see, yeah, so there's power in right there, and then there's connect right there. So, and we've got power in up here, so we're just gonna take, and these are keyed, so I'm going to slide this guy in here like so, just like that, and then you just kind of line it up. Like so. Okay, and run your screws in. Now the nice thing with that is you only have one cable to connect. So it makes installation just a little bit easier. Now I would run these down to snug. I wouldn't run them down to like hard stop, because there's a good possibility you might strip out the radiator doing this. So if you try to really wrench them down too tight. So okay, and we'll just do one more. There we go. A little tricky getting that lined up, but now I could see if you're doing like a new build and you just you hooked them all together first and then just plopped them all together, it would probably be a little easier. But where we're adding these into an existing build, yeah, you got to wiggle around the cables just a little bit more. Okay, and there you go. That replaces those. Now, you can see, so that's our power connector right there, which is another pin input. So, with said, they give us these cables. So you can see we have a right angle connector. So, I would assume the way this is set up is the top, the three by themselves is the A-RGB, and then the four by themselves on the other row is our PWM. So, a couple ways we can do this. So, this is the standard Arctic A-RGB controller. So, and these are your fan well, let's see. So this is your so this is your all-in-one standard connector that goes in here, and then that separates out to a RGB or A-RGB header and a PWM header on this cable here. So, and then this is your A-RGB on here, and then this is your SATA power. So, but with my particular setup, I don't need this. So, I'm actually not going to hook this up, because then I can go ahead and I can just keep the same, I can just use the same software that I'm currently using for the AsRock software that I'm using for the Cougar fan in the back, which actually is just running on default, really. But if I ever wanted to change all this stuff out, then I have the cables to be able to do it. So that's cool. Alright, so what we're going to do is this is going to connect down here. And this is the standard A-RGB. Again, give you a warning, and something I accidentally learned. Do not connect A-RGB to RGB or vice versa. It's not a good thing. Okay, sorry, I got a phone call and I kept working. So, anyways, alright, so let's show you what I did here. Okay, so our little right angle connector goes up here. I went ahead, this is the PWM line coming from the freezer controller. So I went ahead and ran that down here into, down through this access hole right here. And then walk this over so you can see. Okay, so then I went ahead, walked this the rest of the way down, plugged our fans in down here, because that's a pretty long cable, and that still keeps it pretty well cable managed. Normally there would be a drive cage over here. I took that out, so that way I have some place to stash cables. Because otherwise with the drive cage, the 3.5 inch drive cage over there, it's in the freaking way. And with a big old huge power supply like that, it's just in the freaking way. So, alright, so there's that. And then this is our A-RGB over here. So where it was tied up over here, I took the extension cap off and plugged in there and over here. So, okay. Alright, well, so we should be peachy and ready to go then. So then that totally makes it so we don't have to use the controller, but it'll hold on to it. Now see, if you were going to use the controller, you would kind of mount it like this, and it's a 2.5 inch, and it would just go on the 2.5 inch sled right here. So, and then you would plug a SATA power connector in on the bottom, snap it in, and you got 1, 2, 3 build outs, and then you have an external A-RGB connector so you can pass through on it. So, but yeah, pretty cool. All right, well, we don't need that. So, all right, sweet. Well, let's button this up and get some benchmarks done. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and stop the video right there, and we'll do another video with benchmarks and everything and see what we can really squeeze out of this machine now. So also, I've got sucked into hardware bot. Thank you, BuildZoid, for bringing out my competitive side. I don't know if it's a good thing or not. So anyways, like, share, subscribe so you can stay tuned for the follow-up video to this, and we'll get you some benchmarks, and we're going to see exactly what we can squeeze out of this machine. So thank you for watching, and bye for now.